Hey friends, welcome back to the 5th grade playlist. Today I'm going to go over the packet for this week for you. Week 2, 5th grade. We'll discuss some of the activities you see, and today we are going to define the vocabulary words together. Okay, so let's start with day 1. We are going to do the vocabulary chart. You will see the title of the story is The Day the Mollets Got Their Moxie Back. We're going to do this today, filling in the definitions. Then you can write your own sentence and a quick picture to help you remember the definitions. And then after that, you can look on page 20 in your book and answer the questions for number 1. This just helps you to start thinking about the story, checking those pictures, making some predictions. Okay. After that, look back on the 5th grade playlist and find the video History Brief, Daily Life in the 1930s. It's going to show you some real life videos and pictures of what the United States was like in the 1930s, because that is the setting for our story that we're going to read this week. Okay, so we're going to see what life was like during that time, so it will help you to understand the story if you can watch that video. Okay, on day 2, you can review the vocabulary words on page 18 by yourself. Come back to 5th grade playlist because I will be reading the story, The Day the Mollets Got Their Moxie Back, and we'll talk about some things and it will help you to understand a little bit more. On day 3, you'll read the story yourself. You'll look at the questions on day 3, find the answers by underlining them in the story. On day 4, you will use this page in your packet to write about the story. And on day 5, you will be back on the virtual field trip website. Choose a different place to visit and look in the back of your packet for Virtual Field Trip 2. So you'll get to write about it and draw a picture for where you went this week. Okay, that's just a quick overview of our week together. We are going to start with your vocabulary chart. So make sure you have this ready and a pencil ready to write. Okay. I will show you the picture, tell you the definition. I'll write it on the board. And if you need to go back and see that again, just rewind and listen, push pause, and it can stay up here as long as you need it to, so you can write. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with these. The first word in your list starts with an E, employment. Okay. So you point to it on your paper and say employment. Employment is the work that you are paid to do. Okay. The example says, my sister found employment as a camp counselor. So that means her sister, she is paid to do this job. She's paid to be a camp counselor. So anybody that you know that has a job and gets paid for it, that's employment. Okay? So I'm paid to be a teacher. So I found employment at a school, right? If you are a chef or a cook, you might find employment at a restaurant. Okay? So it's a job that you are paid to do. So let's write that. Work you are paid to do. You might find employment on summer break, mowing people's yards. If you do that job and they pay you money, that's employment. Okay? So employment is work you are paid to do. All right, let's move on to the next word in your list. And that is facilities. It starts with an F. Find it, point to it on your paper, and say facilities. Facilities are buildings that have a certain purpose. So in this example, it says stadiums are facilities where sports are played. So I see like a baseball facility, a football facility. So these stadiums were made specifically to play sports in. So I would not say, oh, they made this to be a grocery store and they made this to be a school. That's not the purpose of these buildings, okay? So facilities are buildings that have a certain purpose. Buildings that have a certain purpose. Okay. So for example, the school facilities are built to teach children. A hospital facilities are built to help people that are hurt or sick. So you might think of some buildings that you know were made for a certain purpose and use the word facilities in your own example sentence. Don't forget to draw a picture to match. So once we've gone through all the vocabulary words, go back and think of a good sentence to use them for. All right, so our next word starts with a D. It is depicted. So find this word and say depicted. Depicted just means showed in a picture. In this example, it says the girls depicted their faces in drawings. That just means they showed their face by using a picture, because that's exactly what depicted means. It means showed in a picture. Okay, so I might say that I depicted my house. That just means I showed you my house in a picture. Okay? I showed you what I thought it looked like by drawing a picture of it. Just like they drew pictures of their faces. They depicted their faces. Okay? So depicted means showed in a picture. All right, next word starts with an S. This word is sullen. So point to the word and say sullen. A sullen person is angry and doesn't want to talk. Wow, I wonder if some of you have ever felt sullen before. That would be a great sentence to write. The example says, Amy was sullen because she didn't get a chance to sing. So that means she's angry. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. Why? Because she didn't get a chance to sing. So you might think about a time when you felt sullen and tell why did you feel that way in your sentence. You might say, I felt sullen because I didn't get to go to my friend's house. Okay? So think of a time you felt like this girl. Okay? So if you're sullen, it means you're angry and do not want to talk. Angry and do not want to talk. Sometimes people that are angry do talk and they get very loud and they say lots of mean things. So that's a little bit different from sullen, because sullen means you're feeling angry on the inside and your face might show it, but you just don't want to talk to anybody. You're not saying anything. So sullen means angry and do not want to talk. All right, guys, we are just about finished. Only 2 more words. This word is ingredients. So practice saying ingredients. Ingredients are the items you need to make a certain food. In this picture, it shows Claire gathered ingredients to make a cake. So look, she needed some flour and sugar, some eggs. It looks like she maybe has some fruit or nuts she's going to put in her cake. So ingredients just means the items you need to make a certain food. So items you need to make food. So you will need different ingredients for different kinds of food. For example, if I wanted to make a sandwich, the ingredients might be bread, cheese, some kind of meat, maybe lettuce, tomatoes. But if I'm going to make cookies, I need different ingredients. I would need things like flour, sugar, eggs, chocolate chips. So ingredients are items you need to make food. Okay. All right, last word today is lay. Okay, so find it and say lay. Lay means was lying in a flat position. The example is, the dog lay in the afternoon sun. So you might think of a time when you lay in the sun. Or a place maybe that you were lying down in the past. Maybe you wanted to lay out on the beach. Or you wanted to lay on your bed. So lay means lying in a flat position. Lying in a flat position. All right, so you might think of some times that you were going to lay. Like I said, maybe you lay by the beach, you lay on your bed, you lay next to your teddy bear. Just think of a good example to write on your chart. Lay means lying in a flat position. All right, and that is the last one. So if you need to hear any again, just make sure you rewind and listen. You can push pause to see the definitions written on the board. And now that we finished the definitions, go back and write an example sentence and matching picture for each one. And when you finish that, make sure you answer the questions for number 1 on page 20 to get you thinking about our story we'll read together tomorrow. And don't forget to check out the video, History Brief, Daily Life in the 1930s. That's also on the playlist. And you might think it's kind of boring because it's black and white. That's because it was a long time ago in the United States. But it will help you to understand what the characters are going through in the story that we read. Okay? So finish those today. Tomorrow before you come on, make sure you review some of the vocabulary words by yourself on page 18 by completing the sentences, and we'll review them together before we read our story. And that is The Day the Rowletts Got Their Moxie Back. Okay. All right, so keep working hard, guys. I'm really proud of you, and I'll see you back on here tomorrow to listen to the story together. Take care.